All right, guys. So this is my most recent purchase over the weekend. I decided out of the whim to go out towards Route 66, the gun range down in SoCal or Southern California, to check out their expo that they had going on this last weekend. And this is what I picked up. This is by Gunnr. It's the Odin scope, but this is their rune package, I believe is what they call it. Comes with the hard case and a mount and a scope. There's a little sticker right here. This is the 1 through 8, 24 millimeter. And of course, my favorite part, first focal plane scope. Main reason I got this one was because of that. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's open it up, check it out. This is, again, for the upcoming build that I'm going to be doing on the AR. It's something I've been wanting to do, and LPVO is the route that I wanted to go over holographics. So this right here is your mount. The runes package does come with a mount and then your hard case for storage. It's nice because it actually tells you your feet-pound of torques, your pound per inch for torquing these screws on. If you don't have a torque wrench, you definitely want to get one when you're putting on scopes on. Even says it on here, your 30 pound inches, and then you're on your 20 on the rail on the actual scope. So it's kind of nice that it tells you right there. You don't have to figure it out yourself or, ask the manufacturer, which I've had to do a couple times on some other mounts that I put on some other scopes or other scopes. Little packages. I think this one's probably just your manual. Let's see. Yep. Get your manual, your warning label. Never read those. Let's see. Yep. Fancy. A whole bunch of good stuff. I don't know. I like to figure it out as I go. There's probably a cleaning cloth. Yep. It's got your tools to come for mounting it and adjusting it. Little cleaning cloth. Not too bad. It's actually a pretty, feels like a pretty big cleaning cloth. And then tools for adjusting as well. A knob to put on your scope. So let's get into the scope itself. Oh, missed that. A little coin. When I bought this from the guy, he mentioned, instead of having to use a quarter with you, you can just take this with you, which these are always finicky to try to open. So I'm not going to worry about that. Oh, there's a little spot right here, actually. There we go. Yeah, not too bad. We'll check that out in a second. You'll say, let's get into the scope. Little covers, you can still see through them. It's got a piece of plastic on there, not too bad. Just some rubber bands on the side. Anyways, the one downside to this is it is pretty heavy. I'm not doing any, extreme precision shooting. And as well, I'm not really packing this around a whole bunch, so the weight of it doesn't really bother me too much. I do like the fact that these turrets pop up, so they're locked in. It's not a twist off cap. Some people prefer that. I actually generally prefer this just because you can't turn them when they're locked. You have to pull them up to be able to turn them. It's the same thing on the top one. The nice thing about this turret is it has a zero stop. So, sorry, this does, well, they both have a stop. They're very, very tactile. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this on camera. Probably not. Anyways, I can feel it and it's very stiff. This one you can probably hear a little better. Yeah, very nice. Very tactile. The only disadvantage with this one is there's no way of telling what you actually have it on other than sitting there and turning, and then turning it all the way back down to zero because it does stop at the zero. Then you snap that. There we go. Snap it back down. Illumination, which is your daylight brightness, whatever that means. It's not super bright, but it's bright enough where you'll be able to see it good enough. It's got a pretty good build to it. That's pretty stiff. That's the one thing. I know that'll get worked in over time, probably when I start to use it some more and get it mounted on the gun. Then you can adjust your eye relief depending on where you're sitting up on it. That's actually got a pretty good range on that. That's not too bad. Anyways, The big reason I went with this, I was looking at this one and then one from Sig Sauer and then also one from Vortex. But ultimately, it was really the first focal planes that set them apart for me. I I've done some precision shooting long range before, and I have always preferred the first focal planes. Um, I feel like it's just a better reticle for me personally. I know a lot of people prefer the second focal plane, but that's just kind of my personal preference. Take that with a grain of salt. It's really up to you. But I prefer first focal plane. The reticle is pretty nice. It is a Christmas tree. I'll throw it up on the screen here in a second. But I actually prefer the Christmas tree setup as well, which really mainly works with the first focal plane because you really don't need to be moving any of these. One thing I did forget to mention is MOA. They don't come in the mil spec. It's only MOA. But I prefer Christmas trees because the Christmas tree reticle because I don't really do a lot of windage or elevation changes on either of these. Once I have it sighted in for about 100 yards, depending on what you're shooting at, I go off of the MOA on that Christmas tree reticle. So it's a lot easier. I can make quicker adjustments. You're not sitting there in the field trying to fiddle with this, get it dialed in exactly. Um, I just prefer that because I can do some quick adjustments. The only downside to that is it's really hard to see it when you're on a one. So it's really a lot easier to see when you're zoomed in a lot more and it's a lot bigger. And then as well, your illumination does it mostly lights up your actual center reticle, but as you turn it up, it does light up portions of that Christmas tree as well. Um, I'm a big fan of this. I'll see how it turns out on my arrow build, which is going to be coming up. I'm probably going to be starting that build here in the next week. I'm waiting on a few more parts that are actually going to be coming in tomorrow. So we'll be shooting up that one next. And then just a reminder, guys, we do have giveaways. After a while, I thought I had, oh, here we go. My last giveaway was actually one of these knives. I have a third one because obviously I have my personal one and the one I just gave away, and I have a third one that I'm gonna be giving away once we hit 150 likes, or not likes, sorry, once we hit 150 subscribers. Nice knife. It's an Ozark D2. It's not super expensive. I just like them, and they're kind of a kind of like a hot item there for a while. I think they still are a little bit, but I like them. They're cheap and they're not as expensive as a Benchmade, which I prefer because I like cheap throwaway knives. Anyways, guys, if you like what you saw, hit subscribe, like, follow, comment. I'm pretty responsive. I pay attention to most of the comments that come through, and I generally respond to most of them. Let me know if you guys think there's a better scope or a better LPVO out there. If you prefer a SIG or if you prefer Vortex or even Leopold. Again, a big advantage to this, it's one of the only first focal plane LPVOs that I found under $1,000. The price kind of changes here and there, but I think they're around 500 bucks. The kit is a little bit more expensive, but I got a deal on it because I was there in person at the actual show. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.